This is a tutorial on dividing polynomials. The first type of polynomial division that we're going to talk about is when we divide a polynomial by a monomial, or a one-term polynomial. Here we have 12x to the fourth plus 9x cubed minus 3x squared plus 6x, all divided by 3x. And now I can write that in fraction form. It'll look like 12x to the fourth plus 9x cubed minus 3x squared plus 6x. This is all divided by 3x. And now if I can write it this way, that means I can also write it as 12x to the fourth over 3x. And then plus 9x cubed over 3x minus 3x squared over 3x and plus 6x over 3x. Now, if I can write it this way, that means I can take each one of these terms and individually divide it by 3x. So let's look at our first term here. We have 12x to the fourth over 3x. Now this 12x to the fourth I can write as 3 times 4 times x times x times x and times x again. And this is divided by 3 times x. Now 3 divided by 3 is 1. So 3 over 3 here, these will cancel because this is just 1 and anything multiplied by 1 is just itself. Same thing with this x over x, these are going to cancel. And all we're going to be left with is 4 times x times x times x, or 4x cubed. So 12x to the fourth divided by 3x is equal to 4x cubed. Notice you could have also gotten this by taking the 12 and dividing it by 3, and you would have got 4. And x to the fourth divided by x to the first, when you divide these, you subtract their exponents, so 4 minus 1 is x cubed. Same thing happens with the next term. 9 divided by 3 is 3. X cubed divided by x to the first, well, 3 minus 1 is 2, so we'd have x squared. A negative 3 divided by 3 is a negative 1. X squared divided by x to the first is x to the first. And 6x divided by 3x, well, 6 divided by 3 is 2. And x divided by x, well, this is to the first and to the first. 1 minus 1 is x to the 0. And x to the 0 is just 1 because anything to a 0 power is 1. So we don't usually write that out. And our solution would be 4x cubed plus 3x squared minus x plus 2. So whenever you're dividing a polynomial by a monomial, or a one-term polynomial, you can divide each term individually by that monomial. Now let's talk about dividing a polynomial by a binomial, or a polynomial that has more than one term. Here we have x squared plus 2x minus 8 divided by x plus 4. Now again, I can write this as x squared plus 2x minus 8 over x plus 4. Now the easiest way to do this is to factor our numerator. This will factor into an x plus 4 times an x minus 2. And this is still divided by x plus 4. And notice that we have an x plus 4 in both the numerator and the denominator. When you have an x plus 4 and you divide it by x plus 4, that's just equal to 1. So these binomials are going to cancel. And all you're going to be left with is x minus 2. So whenever you're dividing a polynomial by a binomial, the easiest way is to try to factor the numerator and see if you have a like factor in both the numerator and the denominator. If you don't have a like factor, then you have to use a different form of division. This other form of division is called polynomial long division. And this is just like long division with numbers. We're just going to use it for polynomials. And here's how. we start with our first polynomial. So x to the fourth minus 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 8x and plus 12. And we place this polynomial under our division sign. On the outside of my division sign goes my x squared minus 4. Now the first step is to determine what you need to multiply the largest exponent in your divisor, the x squared, to get the largest exponent term in your polynomial. So how many times does x squared go into x to the fourth? Or what do I need to multiply x squared by to get x to the fourth? Well, the answer to that is x squared. X to the fourth divided by x squared is equal to x squared. So if I have to multiply this x squared by x squared to get x to the fourth, then I'm going to take my x squared that I just found, and I'm going to write it over the x squared in my polynomial. Then I'm going to take this new x squared, and I'm going to multiply it by this x squared. And I'm going to get x to the fourth. But then I also have to multiply it by this negative 4. X squared times negative 4 is negative 4x squared. And because this has a square, I write it underneath my negative 7x squared, and I keep all my x squared in that column. Now the next step, just like normal long division, is to subtract. X to the fourth minus x to the fourth is 0. Now I'm not subtracting anything from this negative 2x cubed, so I'm just going to bring this down. And I'll have negative 2x cubed. Negative 7x squared minus a negative 4x squared is a negative 3x squared. And then the rest of my polynomial just comes down. So we'll have a positive 8x and a positive 12. Now the next step is to figure out what I have to multiply this x squared by to get negative 2x cubed. Well, negative 2x cubed divided by x squared is negative 2x. So I would have to multiply this x squared by negative 2x to get a negative 2x cubed. So since this is a single x, I write it over my single x column here, negative 2x. Then I take this negative 2x and I multiply it by x squared, and I get negative 2x cubed. But if I take this negative 2x and I multiply it by the x squared, I also have to multiply it by this negative 4. Negative 2x squared times negative 4 is a positive 8x. Now I subtract these. Negative 2x cubed minus a negative 2x cubed is 0. I'm not subtracting anything from this negative 3x squared, so it just comes down, and we have negative 3x squared. 8x minus 8x is 0. And then bring down my 12, and we're left with negative 3x squared plus 12. Now I need to determine how many times this x squared goes into a negative 3x squared. Well, that goes in negative 3 times. Negative 3 times my x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times my negative 4 is a positive 12. Now I subtract. Negative 3x squared minus a negative 3x squared is 0. Bring down my other 0. And then 12 minus 12 is also 0. Now here I've hit my constant term. And here I have 0, which means I have no remainder. And once I've hit my constant term, I'm done dividing. My solution then is what's above my division sign, or x squared minus 2x minus 3. So that's how you use polynomial long division to divide two polynomials.